There they go, off they go. So that's obviously why they're sat there holding the rifle. You're quite excited when you came in about that you've got a handle.
Yeah,
on your
last time I came on here. It's all become very technical.
Now you at home get involved in the show tonight. All you have to do is TV on Twitter. Any questions, experts, questions, Darren, more than welcome. So do send them in. I won't be reading the rest of that one too. Now, wait for our first, while we wait for our first catch to arrive, we'll have a little catch up with you two. Stu, I just want to say something. Before we came out to have a little rehearsal, and a few little tinkers decided to put a few more things in my auto cue to catch me out. Most of them do. Apart from that, I think someone has said it was 55 tonight. What's the next with you?
I obviously wouldn't have helped.
First half back on the show anyway.
Things are pretty good. Yeah. You did the simply called whole cards. Based on the strength of players' whole cards, a round of betting now takes place. Once the first round of betting is concluded, the first three community cards, the slot, are now dealt. Players match their whole cards with the community cards to make the strongest 5-card hand possible. Another round of betting takes place between the main players. The turn is now dealt. Players once again complete the round of betting. The fifth and players take turns betting again, and once this is concluded, players show down their home card. The player with the best 5-card hand So, if you have any questions about playing poker, you get them to us. This is a new side, but I don't. You call it the tour. I mean, you must have had something. Yeah. That's why you've got to avoid speed. I was saying about that. I didn't tell them this is a different suit. We will see. So a few minutes ago, before Darren had joined the action, Neil got off to a flying start, or did he? Where's your feeling? You did that one not to be late. I was thinking about it, and I just thought,
this sort of none of it, I was saying this, none of us want to be outside. That was it. I was just like that. You probably would, but if you went out of it, yeah. I actually played this with a team there, quite good enough, so, yeah, this one, I can already say it. I mean, obviously we can see that. I mean, I guess the default would be to raise it before the clock, but there's very good reasons not to. But having not done that, I just felt like I couldn't really have a go at it on that. You know, so why would you? If you had a jack, you wouldn't go crazy on the clock. And, you know, I just didn't really feel like the turn, it just didn't feel like that happens in well, for a partner. Yeah. So this happened from a few minutes ago. I guess the board couldn't have come too much worse for you. You're now beaten by ace 10 and ace 8. Yeah. And I guess you block a bit, do you? Yeah, maybe a small bit of value. 20p just to try and get to showdown truthfully, and then raise and I just fold. It's a reason to fold because he could be bluffing, of course. Do you think he really needed to raise there though? Like he's probably winning anyway, isn't he? But I mean, it begs the question: is he raising as a bluff or for value because it's not clear? And so exactly. I do. Yeah. I mean, there's not many hands that he's going to make me fold that he wants me to fold. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know.
First little hand, of course, that happened a moment ago on their table that they're playing on, which has now got 6 players sat on.
Immediately, as soon as we sat down, they rushed in. People were texting each other. They're chatting there.
George got in touch on Twitter. It's #SkyFogTV if you'd like to tweet us here live in the studio to say, go on, Darren, you can do it.
You said that
love you on
the Supreme Court is wrong on the Second Amendment. Now, in the 2008 Heller case, the court said that there is a constitutional individual right to bear arms. What's wrong with that?
Well, I think what the court said about there being an individual right is in line with constitutional thinking. And I said in the convention, I'm not looking to repeal the Second Amendment. I'm not looking to take people's guns away. But I am looking for more support for the reasonable efforts that need to be undertaken to keep guns out of the wrong hands.
And the Second Amendment includes an individual right to bear arms.
Yes. But that right, like every other of our rights, our First Amendment rights, every right that we have is open to and even subject to reasonable regulations.
I just want to pursue this a little bit because Heller, you said that the right to bear arms is reasonably limited. He left the door open to regulation. If you're elected president, you're going to appoint the 9th Supreme Court Justice. Are you saying you do not want to see the Heller decision, the individual right to bear arms overturned?
No, I don't. But here's what I do want, and I want to be very clear about this. I want the Congress to step up and do its job. I want to get out of the horrible cycle we're in, where we go and mourn dozens, hundreds, thousands of people killed by gun violence. Everybody says, oh, let's pray, let's, send our hearts and our feelings, and then nothing happens. We're better than this. The gun lobby intimidates elected officials. The vast majority of Americans, including gun owners, support the kind of common sense reforms that I'm proposing.
On immigration, you say that you would go even further than President Obama in deferring the deportation of people in this country illegally, and you say if Congress doesn't act, that you would support even tougher executive action. I want to ask you about separation of powers, because the Constitution is clear. All legislative powers reside in Congress. It doesn't say if Congress doesn't act, the president can do whatever he or she wants.
Well, let's sort that out, because it's an important question. When it comes to immigration, I believe strongly that comprehensive immigration reform with the path to citizenship is not only good for people who are living under the shadow of deportation, it's good for our economy. So I think this is on the must-do list. And I hope that after this election, the Congress, which voted in a bipartisan way in 2010 and 2013 to actually take action, will come back and say, okay, let's do this together.
But if they don't,
Well, if they
this is
don't,
a right to do executive action. I mean, that's Congress's.
no, there is a lot of precedent, legal precedent, about how presidents enforce the laws. Let's look at deportation. Whoever is president gets to determine what the priorities are. My priorities are deport criminals, violent criminals as fast as we can. Deport anybody that we think even has a possible link to terrorism. But don't go rounding up hardworking mothers and fathers, taking them out of the factories or the hotels or the homes where they're working, making them disappear and leaving their children alone. That doesn't make any sense to me.
But if you're talking about executive action that's going to affect not a few people or 100 people, I understand prosecutorial discretion, but it's going to affect millions of people, aren't you changing the law? Aren't you writing the law?
No, because here's what I think. The Supreme Court has sent back for trial the challenges to the president's authority to take categories of people and remove the threat of deportation.
And as president, you would be able to name the justices to break the tie.
Well, but first let's go and have the trial. That is true, that I hope that I will have that chance, because it's not just that, it's Citizens United, it's a lot of things that I think the current court got wrong respectfully for our democracy.
So you'd like to see all those things changed with your Supreme Court judge?
Well, whoever the next president is will get to a point, at least one, maybe more Supreme Court justices. And there are a lot of decisions that I approve of that this court has made. First and foremost, marriage equality. But there are decisions that I do think, when taken into their natural conclusion, have hurt our democracy, undermined our economy.
What about precedent?
The precedent is absolutely in the, I talk law, I'm a recovering lawyer. I know that precedent is something that you look to, but I also know that courts can take a look at precedent and determine that maybe they weren't right the first time.
You say you are the real chicken in this campaign, but I think it's fair to say that you're building on the Obama agenda. You're not rejecting it. 69% of Americans think that we're on the wrong track. We just found out that GDP growth in this last quarter was 1%. It's the
I've got to talk to Nicky. Now, did you think about pulling this down? I mean, yeah, obviously you've only got Ace High, but it can't be ahead. I'll tell you why, because I actually asked him if he got anything. I didn't believe he did have, but his head down, didn't he? Refused to look at us. I know, I was sitting on the sofa. You know what? It felt so early that. That's right. You can't win it early, can you? But for a small blow to Neil Channing, but I was pretty happy about it, actually, yeah. In the meantime, we're actually in a pot right now, so please talk amongst yourselves. Just me, you get. Yeah, it is me. On the football. Have a chat with Anna about what she thinks about the management situation.
Not the football. Do you want to click on the slide and ask them football-related questions or poker-related questions? Any questions for Darren here this evening? #TV, and I will put those questions to him when he is not in the middle of a hand.
He's in every end.
I know you've been right in there, aren't you? No sort of patience at the beginning, or
what do you think your focus style is? What do you think your focus style is? If you ask to describe it, like, are you an aggressive player? Are you I'd say patient. I'm quite patient. Does that reflect your personality, the way you play poker? I think it's a sprinter. See, he does this 5 minutes in, he tries to distract me. No, that's fine, because I have rugby time. He can distract me. I won't allow, that's when I'm focused. You see, in the tournaments, he struggles, he dashes off in front. Just runs out of steam. I think as a sprinter, everybody thinks that you're probably hyper, but the race is 10 seconds, so you have to be patient. That's all for me. A day at a time.
Well, you like king of the sports day at school?
Yeah.
Were you like, did you just win everything?
Probably the quickest in the school.
He done the egg and spoon. I can say it.
And were you just doing the short races at school, or did you try?
Well, in cross countries, I used to come last. Yeah,
You quickly figured out.
I knew very early on that it needed to be short for me to be involved.
The guy who I can't remember his name. The guy that won the 800 in the London Olympics.
The world record.
Oh yeah. He's amazing. But he's basically sprinting, isn't it? Really,
virtually. Although it's impossible to do over 800 meters, but yeah, it's unbelievable. The 800 over the last couple of years, it's changed. Yeah, it's changed. You know, I guess going back, people would almost save energy in this.
Was a bit of a jogging around.
Yeah, finding planes, getting in the right position, whereas the guys now can go off from the gun and literally open up a gap where you just you're not going to catch them.
Neither is sprint or long distance, is it?
Yeah.
But
it's more.
But in the other events, so particularly like the 100 meters, 200, it's impossible for that to really. No one's going to knock a second off the 100 meter. Not really. Difficult. I mean, but in the 800, he's really changed the whole sport, hasn't it? Or the whole event,
definitely. And it's all. This year, going into this year, he picked up a few injuries, and it did set him back. But again, because of the class, come the championships, he was able to step up and do what he does.
But he's like, sorry, Anna, you've probably got loads of really good questions to ask. Sorry.
Who cares about me?
He's like, all those middle distance guys, they're all kind of like wiry and like sometimes quite short and that kind of stuff. Whereas the runners are all quite beefy.
Because you need muscle, you have to push yourself off really fast. I did sprints in the gym yesterday. Are you proud of me?
I'm very proud.
I don't know if you're bluffing now.
Yeah. How far?
No, I did.
How far?
15 minutes of interval training.
Yeah.
Like minute sprint, 30 seconds, walk.
I felt for sure you were going to say I did 15 minutes on the sunbed.
Thanks for the compliment. No, but it's all about power, isn't it? Sprinting off from the start. So
and that's it. Going back in school, if it was a long jump, I could do it. If it was a high jump, anything that was explosive was fine. But anything where, it took a bit of endurance.
But what I was thinking is, like, now that 800's like become more of a sprint, why do not people step up from 200 or 400 to that? It's not possible.
I almost feel you're born with a high percentage of fast twitch fibers, and if you could be the fastest man in the world,
why would you
over
bother?
over 100 meters? Why would you go up? And even me in school, the coaches at the local club, Sal Harris, they always said I'd end up being a 400 meter runner, and I was like, why would I go through that pain if I could run 100, 200?
Plus, isn't that the race that everyone really wants to watch? That's like the glory, isn't it?
It's the most watched race in the Olympic Games.
If you can run that, then.
What about the old hurdles? You never fancy that?
No, I couldn't hurdle. No. In fairness, I never tried.
Some races called injection.
Never tried. Never.
Everybody wants to be the fastest in school. It wasn't the fastest hurdler.
No. Did you have a?
I trained with Colin. That's one of the
reasons why if you did a hurdle race against him, he'd just kill you. But if you did a flat race against him, you'd kill him. Is that
but although he was a good 100 meter runner, really good 100 meter runner. But normally that's how it tends to work.
Do you reckon people still train in the same way that when you were training?
It's evolved. It's changed.
A
lot of the young talent, like Adam Jamili, they don't necessarily do as much as the endurance work that I used to do, especially because I used to run 100 meters and 200 meters at the championship. So there is a lot more work that I had to put in than if I was just focused and training on 100 meters. So it's slightly changed, and I don't think they actually allow the younger athletes now to double in major championships, which is a shame, because technically with sprinters we're not a 100 meter runner or 200 meter runner, we're sprinters, so really you should be able to run pretty well at both.
More questions coming up, but I must let him concentrate on his poker. Let's have a look at another hand. This is round 1 of the grudge match here tonight on Sky Poker. If you are watching after it lasts 40 minutes.
Oh, this was I think I remember this.
So this is the trick of the show. Daniel has cast your mind back a few minutes, if you can remember.
Yeah.
Whether Neil bluffed you.
I wasn't in this
Oh,
one.
I was hoping
I was hoping he was going to come with me